But Mitch Marner is off to a terrific start as well. You can see him there tied for the league lead, which with the aforementioned Connor McDavid with the exact numbers, 5 goals and 7 assists. And, you know, Jackie, you brought it up the other day because there's been some stories in Toronto about Marner working on his shooting, and he changed his stick a little bit. I think he's moved his flex from a 75 from an 85 from what I read in the story. He's been working with a skills coach. Heck, he's been working with Austin Matthews on his shot. So, you know, that's been a difference for him. And I think in this league where everybody is looking at tape all the time, they're trying to find a way to shut you down. If you are too much of a shooter or too much of a playmaker, you are easier to defend. But when you can do things like that, and rip one-timers from the high slot and beat a goalie like Jacob Markstrom from that distance, all of a sudden you are a much more difficult guy to slow down. So, you know, we see guys who are always the guys who are at the top of their game. And I can remember going back to when Steven Stamkos first came in the league, and we had talked to him, and he talked about that. I'm always looking at tape of myself to see what I can do differently, how I can kind of change things up, because the defenders are doing the same thing, and they're trying to stop you. So kudos to Mitch Marner. It's working for him so far. He's off to a great start. He's a fun player to watch, and now he's had a little bit more shooting into the mix. Teams are going to have to watch that, Jackie.
Yeah, and according... sorry, go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, no, I just want to follow up with that. I love that he is just not satisfied of being a really, really good hockey player, of just passing, whatever. He's putting in the work, obviously, to get that done. And reminds me of Jaromir Jagr, a guy that goes to the rink at night to you know, get a second practice of the day. So he's not satisfied. He always wants to be better, and that's just being a good pro. You want your best players to do that, and all that just filters through the rest of the team, that you're just not satisfied of where you're at right now.
Yeah, it's a great leadership quality, too. When you see someone as good as Mitch Marner trying to get better, and you're playing, you know, on the 3rd or 4th line, you're like, all right, well, I better put my work boots on and make sure that I'm trying to get better, too. And, you know, when you read these stories and you hear these reports out of Toronto that it's always Matthews that is out there, you know, teeing him up for these one-timers and working on a shot with him. That, I think, is a really good indication of the mentality of 2 star players and core players on that team as well, that they are working together to make each other better. And then for opponents, it just makes the entire team that much more dangerous and tougher to play against.
No question.